Meesho of 2025 would not have been the same. Mukul of 2025 would not have been the same without Vidit in his life and Meesho in his life. So I am what I am, who I am because of you, and thank you so much. I can't imagine another universe where you were not part of my life and my journey.
I keep telling you, I don't think Meesho of 2025 would have been what it is today without you.
I don't think both of us have come back together to this place since the June 2017 meeting. So now we'll be listed in what 4 days. Has it started sinking in? How does it feel?
I have not taken a time to absorb this. I think I will do it after the 10th celebration.
If I remember correctly, we were sitting somewhere loosely in this area only, maybe where.
Correct. I think we were sitting here. I remember my mind space also. And I have told you this before. It was, I think we had like 2 months of payroll money left in the bank account, and I had met like everyone for a long time. And I was like, ya to now or never type si hai. We're coming from like very tough 1 year. And you know the story. We went to YC, we got a term sheet, the money never came. And then suddenly we realized that like we have some bit of last money left and we have to run everything from there.
Right.
But we were seeing good momentum in the business since we moved to our reseller platform.
Right.
Like we were doubling every month. मैंने कहा यार ये बहुत सही चल रहा है, but like we are still running out of money. So I had come and told you here कि Mukul, it's now or never.
Yes.
Either you commit now or otherwise you don't know how it will happen. And fortunately it worked the right way.
So to your credit, even though you are saying you had 2 months of runway, the day we met, I remember for the past 6-9 months, you had like 2-3 months of runway. And somehow you were figuring out how to keep extending, which I think even going back in time was so impressive. Money is running out, we are pivoting, but still we are finding a way to say, especially 6-9 months before that meeting, it was a very different direction, no certainty that it was going to work. But you were at it, somehow you kept figuring out ways to extend runway. Every month you were growing, and in hindsight, thankfully, you stayed the course. Thankfully, we could get those several months of time to spend with you before getting to a decision. Otherwise, today a Series B company would probably have lesser PMF than you had when we met here in June.
Yeah, no, I feel so. Like now when I meet companies and where they are and they've raised so much money, मुझे लगता है कि यार like things have changed so much since then.
Yeah.
And I feel like even then, many times I do this reflection with our old team. And I find it very surprising. As you said, right, like we're running out of money in that same year. I think we met here maybe in May or June. June, I think.
June we met
June
here.
2017. So June 2017 we met here. But for 6 months before that, as you said, we were running out of money all the time, and the team kept figuring out some ways of making some short-term revenue. Like we were doing some side businesses to make some revenue. I remember in March we serviced some company in Haryana and got like 2 months of runway extended. So team was
I
doing
heard those stories about that company.
So we were doing things on the side to keep making some money and keep surviving. And all the people who were there in the team, by the way, there was no one who left in that year, and everyone knew how hard it was. So I think the vibe was also quite strong within the company. I can rationalize and justify what was unique and good about us, but like I actually don't know कि क्या हुआ था.
हाँ नहीं देखो वो तो है यार, लेकिन उसमें like even like today I feel we've also spoken about it. Lot of companies now raise 2, 3, 5 million seed rounds, and actually they miss out on that early grind, which helps you get so much closer to the truth, so much closer to the PMF, and then either it's too late or they like never get there.
I think that time also builds culture. Like I think we built a culture unintentionally in that 6 months. And since then, as a company, Sanjeev and me and a lot of those old folks have been trying to just maintain that old culture. Okay, what did we do right in those 6 months? Can we keep retaining it? Like whatever intellectual honesty you had, being very close to the customer you had, being very frugal about what you were doing. I think it's just, and getting people who are as motivated in bad times as they are in good times.
Right.
I feel like that time period built a culture which we've been retaining since then, which is very hard.
Very true. Very true. Actually, I also remember you had some other meeting that day, like we were just chatting few minutes back. For me, literally, that was the only slot which was working, and you had something else, I think, in meeting with another investor, which you cancelled to make it work.
Again, at that point in time, we wanted to raise money. So I had like, I was meeting all these investors, and there was one investor who was showing a lot of interest. And that investor was not based out of Bangalore.
Oh, okay. Acha, this I did not know.
So that investor was also traveling from somewhere. So this was the only slot available. So they said, "Okay, we can meet you now, or it'll happen like few weeks later." And as I said, like I really wanted to raise money because we were right at the edge. And you said, "Okay, I have to go back to Delhi." So I had to make a choice. Okay, do I meet you or do I meet them? And then like, okay, I have met Mukul. Who do I really want to get on board among the two? If Mukul comes on board, even with a low probability right now.
Okay, so that
considering we've
time
been-
you thought probability of us converting was lower than the other fund
because
before the meeting.
because we've been like speaking for a long time.
Almost
right?
year and a half. Yeah, no, can't blame you. That is true.
So it was, but I still was. If I could get anyone, I would still get you because you had spent so much time. I don't remember any other fund who went so deep in speaking to our resellers, speaking to our users, really building conviction in that business.
Right.
So if I could get one person, I really wanted to be you. So मैंने कहा कि यार ठीक है, I will say no to them. I'll come meet you, and I feel very happy about that decision now. But उस time पे तो it was quite tricky.
No, I've told you many times, can't thank you enough, can't thank my destiny enough, because like that's where I believe in destiny as well, and that day could have played out differently for whatever reason. You might have decided to meet the other fund. So thank you for. By the way, this I'm realizing for the first time. I knew you had cancelled another meeting, but I didn't know you thought chances of that converting were higher, and still you decided to meet me. So thank you once again. And I was telling Meenu also when we were chatting yesterday, that would have been a different parallel universe, yeah. And I'm so glad I'm not living in that universe, and this is the one I got to live in with you. So thank you so much.
No, I can't thank you enough. I've been telling Meenu and many other people. I think company also shaped in a particular way because you were part of it for the first 2 years. I also see like a lot of other companies where people don't get as much love from the senior person in the firm after people invest in their seed companies, and we were called a Series A round then, but it was like a seed-like round, right? Like you're raising that much amount at that value. आज तो वो seed भी नहीं होता है.
हाँ, तो pre-seed है वो.
Today it's pre-seed now.
हाँ.
But I'm saying to come in at that stage, investing that much, and I remember for the first 1 year, I was calling you every second day or maybe every day, and I was bouncing off about hiring, about making any decision in the product, and changing this thing, changing that thing, and you're always picking up my call and doing this. So it's not just like coming on board; it's just coming on board like fully and giving everything before the company feels like it will achieve something, right? Like at that stage, will feel like देखेंगे ये क्या बनेगा. So to me, like you coming on board, giving everything, bringing us where we are today, I feel very
नहीं तो वो
very lucky.
It's both ways. So for me also, by the way, that's what would give me so much energy. And you would remember there was this one phase in between, I think probably around COVID, when in-person meetings stopped, and maybe it started a little before COVID. I'm forgetting the exact timeline, when our frequency of conversations had gone down. And then I remember I had called you once, यार इसको fix करते हैं, मजा नहीं आ रहा. And you had the same sentiment, कि यार मुझे भी मजा नहीं आ रहा, so let's fix. And then I'm glad we caught it at the right time, and again it's sort of gone back. Now obviously moving to Bangalore has also helped. But there was that phase where I was actually really missing, कि यार ये अब इतनी frequently बात नहीं हो रही, what's happening.
Now we are overcompensating for it now.
We are overcompensating.
After you moved to Bangalore,
Yes.
Paddle is solving for it.
Yeah. By the way, I was also reflecting on that 2017 meeting, right? The other thing I remembered is before that we had met in your office. I think probably it was March, April, just couple of months before our meeting. And that time our marketplace had started scaling up. And there were two very strong beliefs you had even at that time. One, that we will be zero commission. And which I thought कि अरे क्या बात कर रहे हैं मतलब zero commission पे कैसे marketplace बनेगा and you have to take commission, you have to make money. And second, that we will not, like logistics will be a platform, which again was hard to understand ki what is he talking about. Like in India we are so early in the e-commerce journey and there are only these 2-3 providers and you have to work with them, you have to make sure everything is happening from the pickup to drop, so it can't be a platform. And if we fast forward now 7-8 years, obviously it was a route because it was early in those days, but that's exactly what we have done, which is quite phenomenal to have that clarity back in the day and in fullness of time, which is how it has played out.
Now you remember that meeting much more clearly than I do.
मुझे तो बहुत distinctly याद है यार.
The thing I remember from that meeting is that we had to basically show we can make revenue.
Yes.
So you remember from that meeting, after that meeting, we started charging a commission.
Yes.
And we were trying to do zero commission, and in those days, as I said, like we were running out of money, so we had no option.
Right.
So we had to make some money in the short term, and actually that was the point that we started making commission, and I think that also built confidence with you over the next few months. That, hey, you can really make money in this business. Otherwise, ये कैसे होगा? We obviously undid that after that in a few years.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was. You're right. I think we saw the core needs of the market then. Some of the decisions were what you could do, what you could not do.
Right.
And I think you have also said to people, and I keep saying, a lot of people feel that we've had pivots in our journey. Internally, we call it vision expansion, right? Because you have to do the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
We could not have sustained a zero commission business back then.
Right.
We did not have the resources or the volume to build a logistics platform back then.
Right.
So the things happen at the right time. And we also could not get enough money to do direct marketing to consumers back then. So reseller was the right way of getting consumers online for the first time.
Yeah.
Getting them in such a cost efficient fashion. I remember when you came in, for the first few years, we used to keep showing that we are the most efficient to reach this scale of GMV, this scale of GMV.
Capital raise to GMV achieved.
You're always the best because, again,
by order of magnitude.
Correct. Because the reseller business allowed us to get to a lot more consumers with less money spent.
Right.
So if you have to do this business without raising as much money, and in 2015, 16, 17, raising a lot of money for a new e-commerce company, after so many of them not doing well, before this was much tougher. But yeah, you're right. Now when you look back, you feel like हाँ हमने तो पहले ही सोच लिया था.
हाँ, नहीं मेरे को वही लगा यार कि the irony is you had that clarity in 2017. Still, you had to make commission for us to get over the line. Finally, that's been the right answer. And when I was listening to this money control interview, is when I got reminded that now life has come full circle. We are going public, and now public market investors are asking the same question. यार commission तो बनाओगे या you will charge some platform fee at some point. You still have the clarity that that's the lazy answer. There is no way we are going to do that.
Yeah, I want to make sure that it does not change us in the wrong way, and I think that's very important.
I also remember I'm forgetting which round this was. This was actually post-COVID, post us becoming a B2C platform, where again when you were trying to raise that round, that pitch of zero commission people were not understanding, and then again you had to at least explain it differently to say that it's not that we are zero commission, there is this take rate that we have from which we are covering everything, and this is what gets left. Is that right? I remember something like that happened and you had to change how we were talking about the zero commission model.
I think we went zero commission in 2020, and for the longest time, because there was not enough data, right? And we started the ad business after that. Logistics as a platform was not there, so it was not that we were making a lot of money there. So for a long time, people didn't see anything. So explaining it was hard. Now I think people see more. People want to keep seeing more and more after this also. So
No, that is true.
I think it will happen, in my opinion. I think to me, the most important thing which has been with the company for the longest time is you have to be very clear with the principles that you're running this business with. If you have clarity of the vision, long-term clarity of the principles with which you want to run, then you figure a way out in between. Like you may have to make some short-term compromises as we did back in 2017 to show commission, but you come back on track. As you prove, as you show more data, as people build more confidence, you come back on track. But the clarity of where you want to eventually reach has to be there. If you distract yourself permanently, it's hard to come back.
Actually, on that one, also I was curious. Like there have been so many times when the decision you took was very unconventional, very non-consensus. So that zero commission for the longest time was one of those decisions. Even when we decided to build Valmo, saying that we will only build it as a tech platform, only build it on incremental capacity of existing providers, is completely unconventional. Grocery, we've been chatting there. The approach you want to take, which is again completely as a asset-light marketplace, is very unconventional. We spoke about the IPO process. So what gives you the conviction, what gives you the confidence to say ki yaar, people around me who are also smart people, by the way, are pushing back, they have a different point of view, but this is right and we should stick to this approach and it will pay off?
There are different drivers to this over the last 10 years. I think 10 years ago, both Sanjay and I were very young. So when you're 24, 25, then there's an urge to be different. Correct? So it's like you don't want to conform to what everyone does. You can't give a very clear reason of why. It's like a teenager wants to exactly do different than what their parents want. So it's like we were that in the venture ecosystem. So there's some bit of urge of just being different, doing something very different, carving out your own identity. I think now that urge is lesser. I think now it comes more from having a lot more clarity of steady state vision and then working backwards from there.
Right.
I feel a lot of these things, as you're saying, right, like they feel bold in the short term because they're tough in the short term.
Right.
But you will see like some of these things as time passes by, people realize, this made sense, and that is true for zero commission, that is true for now a lot of people are trying to copy it, do this, do that. That is true for logistics platform, that is true for like earlier reseller, now consumer app. A lot of these bold decisions that we made, I think it was just this, okay, we work backwards from a vision. And every time we do it, and I think it just, I feel also it's about like you gain confidence, you do it once, you do it twice, you do it thrice, and you succeed. Then you feel like, yeah, you can keep doing this. Correct? So it's like it becomes part of the culture of the company. The company, you always look back to the past to say, hey, we have done this, why can't we do it now? So I think it just comes from there. It comes from having a very high clarity of the vision, which is why also as a company, we never do things out of FOMO, right? Like you always see things doing, something is picking up, do something like this. As a company, we have very less FOMO because everything that we do comes from how does it tie to our long-term vision, and we don't see that clarity, we don't do it.
I've seen founders who are either strategic, can think long term, or are very good at operational nitty-gritties, what is to be done today. You are the only founder I know, and I'm not exaggerating at all, who can so comfortably straddle between both of these. I've seen you hold such long-term vision with such clarity, and which is what, going back to that previous discussion, also drives the conviction to say, yeah, it doesn't matter what everyone else is saying, I know what is the right answer. And stay focused on that long term while saying, okay, what is needed in terms of team, culture, operational hustle to then make it happen. So I have no doubt we are going to be an exceptional public company and probably set the benchmark. As public market investors also, they are looking at all the startups with the lens to say, let's see how they come and do in the public markets. I'm sure we'll set a new benchmark where people will say, यार अगर तुम startup हो, venture funded ecosystem, public आ रहे हो ना, तो यार तुम्हें Meesho बनना है. Be like them, and hopefully be like an HDFC Bank or Titan over the next few years. So I've zero doubt that's going to happen.
What you're saying is too much pressure. I will not take it.
You are used to pressure, so but it's a. I think it's going to happen. There's no doubt at all. So as you when you reflect on the last 10 years, and I know it's very hard, but if you have to pick just, let's say, 2 or 3 moments which you would almost like vividly remember कि यार यहाँ बैठे थे, ये हो रहा था, and then like for me, if I for that 2017, and which is why I requested why don't we do this catch up here. For me, this meeting we had in June 2017 is one of those which is defining for me in my professional journey. So which are those 2 3 moments for you personally as you look back?
I think this is definitely one of them because the hardest round we've ever had was that series A round.
Right.
So 12 months before that, basically, I don't think anything has changed me more than those 12 months.
Got it.
And a lot of principles that are still very clear to me today come exactly from that. What are the good and bad decisions we made? What kind of people to hire?
Right.
How to run a company? I think if you go through a very tough phase, it just shapes you.
Right.
So I think that those 12 months were like big, very important, and you came on board and that changed. I would say the pandemic time period when we, and that was also the time when we, for example, went zero commission
Right.
and then we went consumer. I think that was also a big pivotal moment for me.
Right.
Because it was a very tough decision.
Yes.
Correct? Making big changes in a company when you're smaller is much easier.
Yeah.
But to make these changes when now you are a private unicorn and you are putting everything that you have done so far at stake and you have no idea what things will be. And these are irreversible things because you are changing the shape of the direction and now you go in consumer e-commerce and there's a lot of money in that market and there's a lot of competition in that market, the way people think about it. It was a big one to do.
Right.
And it was a big one to do for everyone, for our team members, for the board members, for all of us.
Yeah.
I think to me, just steering that really well was also,
Of course.
it was very good. And I also feel lucky, by the way, that I had a team which basically understood this. And I, even on the board, right, like to be okay with that.
Right.
Okay, hey, you could say like on paper, people are sitting on a lot of gains for those many years.
Right.
And now putting all of those gains at risk to say, hey, we will go after this new direction and trusting me with this.
Right. Yeah.
Correct? So I think to me, that was a very pivotal moment. Now looking back, it went well. And if it hadn't gone well, it was a big risk moment for sure. And I feel lucky with the support I had. That we could do it smoothly and we did it in a quite short period of time.
Yeah. Well, for me also, when I reflect on that specific phase, you are absolutely right. It was a big risk. Again, going back to your point, short-term risk, long-term, it was clear that it had to be done. Having said that, again, I don't think 99 out of 100 founders, even knowing that, would have had the courage to say, I will put everything I have built at risk. We've just raised a round at $2 billion valuation. That investor has made a case to their IC that micro entrepreneur focused business can be a $7, $8, $10 billion business. And first board meeting, we'll go and say we are now going to be a consumer marketplace. So that needed just immense courage. And hats off to you for having that courage. And obviously execution followed up. But courage has to come before execution, and it's just phenomenal you were able to take that
I'm
step.
saying I don't want to underplay this, but it's not just my courage. I'm saying it's courage for everyone involved.
Right.
Like as you said, like most people make big changes when things are not going well.
Yes.
Very few people make big changes when things are going well.
Yeah.
And the year before that, we grew like 5x. People say, hey, if this sector and market is growing 5x, why would you change this business?
Right.
And for everyone who's part of this, who have a lot of things at stake to basically support it, I feel is courageous for everyone. For our team members, for the board members.
Yeah.
I can totally imagine an alternate scenario in some alternate universe where people would have said, no, you can't do this and this, that. We never had that. I think what the board said actually was very constructive. Hey, it's a big decision and we may fail like for some time and we need a buffer. Please go out and raise some more money. Which was the best decision to make, and we did that actually. Correct. So I think it was very constructive, the right decision to make, and I feel like company in the right place. There's no reseller market today in India anymore. So if at that point in time we had not made this decision, we would not be where we are. So I think to me that was very pivotal, and I feel lucky with the group that I have been.
If I reflect on our journey, right, I mentioned how you are a long-term thinker, but again, I feel your time horizon has just kept expanding. How long-term you are able to think, and therefore, a lot of that clarity also comes from there. And then saying, okay, like again, going back to that case of 2020, when we said now we have to evolve to a consumer-facing platform. One is that decision, but then it's to say that okay, this decision doesn't just mean we change metrics and it'll happen. You were very conscious. This has to be followed up with a significant cultural shift. And I remember you thought through, okay, what are the big shifts we need to make? You build that into the values. You started sort of reinforcing them day in, day out with the team. And then there were obviously OKRs and metrics, etc. to follow up. Just that holistically thinking, I've seen very few leaders having the ability to straddle across all of these and think so holistically, which is what it was back in the day. If someone had to place a bet, how likely is it to happen? I don't think anyone would have given it a 50% chance even. But that's why it happened in my view, because you were able to think through it end to end.
No, I think you are right. And I think we had no option but to think through it, because in my head, which is a thing, sometimes I overthink a lot of these things. And I actually was overthinking what all can go wrong. And I used to think like so many things can go wrong. I still remember the first time I went to our team and said, we'll make this change. Everyone was very upset, because you realize like the mission of the company back then was very focused on our women entrepreneurs who are part of our reseller platform. And people used to get a lot of energy when they will tell you stories of how they're able to become financially independent, how they're able to get their identity. And suddenly we are saying that we will not serve them, and actually what we will do will cannibalize their business. They will consumer buy directly from us and not from them. And like when I saw this, I was like, oh shit. Suddenly like everyone becomes demotivated and all these people have joined for this mission, and if that's not the case, will everyone leave or will they not give their 100%? So I could see like the fault lines every single place. So to me, like to just execute that transition, so yeah, I definitely feel good. And as I said, the most important that was there, I had very good people surrounded around me who basically made this happen, the leaders inside the company. And but so many things could have gone wrong, and which is why there's no other case like that. Like people who are reseller apps otherwise, like do people even remember them? The answer is no.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And just lastly, I've said it so many times. Again, personally, one thing I really, really admire and respect is how humble and grounded you have stayed as a leader, and which is so good to see. You've had so much success, you had so much limelight, and it would be so easy to let that get to your head, and which happens in a lot of cases. But it's just so good to see as a human being, if at all you've become more humbler, you've become more grounded, and I've learned a lot from that. Okay, with it, back to 10th December, when we'll be listed, and fast forward a few years, let's say it's December 2035, we meet again here, we are having breakfast, and as you sort of at that point look at the journey since going public, what would make you happy? What do you think you would be reflecting back on? What would those last 10 years have, how would those last 10 years have played out?
I think first is we should have had even more impact in the country. Like to me, and that's true for the company, that's true for me, and it's connected to the point of being very, very mission aligned. Like we've had even bigger impact on the country, um, bigger impact in terms of serving more people, serving more their needs, helping them in their lives even more. Our mission statement is how do we democratize e-commerce for everyone. If you've had in the next 10 years 10x, 100x more impact, I'll feel very good about it.
Right.
I would also say one thing which was not the case last 10 years, which I want to make bigger, is even having impact in non-capitalist ways. But now philanthropy that happens while during Meesho, outside of Meesho, I think to me is also something that I'm thinking about more. I think one of the things I also want to do is, as you were saying, right, like we want to be the model public company from the tech ecosystem at large.
Right.
If you see, even whenever a tech company goes public, there's still always some bit of trust deficit,
Yes.
where people feel, hey, are these companies coming for exit, this, that, and
Right.
I want to make sure that like we become a company that changes that in some way.
Right.
So being a model public company, earning the trust of the new shareholders, public shareholders, doing the right thing every single time, and because 10 years is a long time period, people would have seen us
Right.
make the right decisions, and I feel to me that's also important. Now I will ask this question to you.
See, from my shoes, I feel 2035, Meesho in 2035 will be unrecognizable to Meesho of 2025, and in all the good ways. If you look at Meesho of 2025 compared to 2020, we are a very different company. Values are the same, principles are the same, leadership is the same, but the business has evolved so much. And because I have seen you so closely, Sanjeev so closely, our DNA and value system so closely, I just feel our ability to have impact, obviously in the core business, is very high, but even beyond that is very, very high. How do we touch customers in many more ways? How do we touch other partners in the ecosystem in many more ways? I'm sure you will be the same humble with the much larger vision driving that company forward. And with lastly, I just want to share with you, like, it has been last 10 years has been such a privilege, and thank you so much once again for the partnership, and more importantly for the friendship. It's just been phenomenal. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Mukul, and I can't be grateful enough. I keep telling you, I don't think Meesho of 2025 would have been what it is today without you. So I think you have been as core a pillar of this company as something can be. So I'm grateful, and I don't think I can express that gratefulness enough in words. So I think it's to a point where you can't even say thank you. I would just say that I mostly and overall the company has been very lucky to have you.
Yeah, no, like you being too kind, but I completely reciprocate all the feelings. There, I can't, like you said, you can't. Meesho of 2025 would not have been the same. Mukul of 2025 would not have been the same without Vidit in his life and Meesho in his life. So I am what I am, who I am, because of you, and thank you so much. I can't imagine another universe where you were not part of my life and my journey. Thank you.